Guys, gals, and gas, honey. Yes, honey. Child, let me get a puff real quick because we about to have to talk about this mess, honey. Yes, you see her on the screen. Oh, my goodness. Crackery. Trigger warning. Crackery. And it's this fool. Nancy Mace. Honey, if y'all ain't familiar with Nancy Mace, let me refresh y'all memory. She was the crazy cooter on CNN talking crazy about Kamala, trying to defend Trump. One of them.
Spewing lies and misinformation and obvious falsehoods.
Well, if you want to talk about misinformation, we can talk about Kamala Harris's Google ads, like literally taking headlines from mainstream media and rewriting them. More than 3 weeks in, Kamala Harris hasn't given a single interview. She hasn't come on your program. She's not answering questions.
It's
She's
Kamala, first of all. It's not Kamala. It's Kamala. And she's not yet the candidate. She's only been in office, only been the candidate for 3.5 weeks.
Kamala Harris comes out with
Kamala
Harris comes out with her policies.
Donald Trump is in a very vulnerable
talk
position.
About rerun Kamala's.
You had it right. You almost got it.
I will say Kamala's name any way that I want to.
No,
but
you mispronounced her and you also misjudged her.
I just did, and I'll do it again.
Mispronouncing her name.
That's a refusal to acknowledge her humanity.
If I purposely mispronounced your name, that would not be appropriate.
Policies.
Baby, she just could not get Kamala's name right, could she, honey? And then when she did get it right, she purposefully mispronounces it. I hope y'all know that this is all a tactic, all a ploy that they do to show you that they have no respect for you. They, meaning the crackers, the Trumpers, all of that. They purposefully mispronounce this lady's name as a sign of disrespect. I know, it's just as stupid as them. And right on brand. Okay. Now let's get into how Nancy ended up in the sling. Nancy, what happened to you? What happened to your arm, Nancy? Well, it started with Sarah McBride.
Sarah McBride is a courageous young leader, and she is right now the first trans person ever to address a national convention. Sarah?
Well, joining me now, we have Democratic Congresswoman-elect Sarah McBride of Delaware. She will become the first openly transgender member of Congress. So, Congresswoman-elect, welcome. It's nice to have you on the show for the first time.
Then you've got Sarah McBride, who made history back in 2016 as the first openly transgender person to speak at a major party convention. She made history again as she was elected to the Delaware state legislature, becoming the highest ranking trans lawmaker in the country. McBride celebrated last night, saying in a statement that she is humbled by the support that she's received, and she hopes her win, quote, shows an LGBTQ kid that our democracy is big enough for them too.
Making history also as the first openly transgender person elected to the United States Congress. Please welcome Congresswoman Sarah McBride.
Well, I think this moment, like so much of the story of this country, is the dual story of both pain and progress. Mm-hmm. And I am so proud that on Tuesday night, Delaware sent the message to our nation that our democracy is and can be big enough for all of us.
Sarah said it, honey. She wants the trans community to know that our democracy is big enough for all of us. But the problem with people like Nancy Mace is they don't want people like us to have power in the U.S. Child, you ain't got to believe me. This is how Nancy responds to Sarah's record-breaking win.
But rather a bathroom ban.
Yeah, it was related to a piece of legislation that Congresswoman Nancy Mace has put forward to try to ban what she says are biological men. She's referring to transgender women, and she might be coming here actually any minute. I think she's at the top of the stairs. So the question is, with your piece of legislation about banning women from using...
100% yes.
My question to you is...
And it doesn't go far enough. I'll be filing more bills.
You have said that it was created in response to Congresswoman-elect McBride.
100%. And
but should legislation be created targeted at one specific person?
It doesn't mention anyone in the legislation, but
you've said it was aimed at her.
No, I have said it's a result of this. I'm not going to allow Sarah McBride doesn't get a say in this. This is a biological man trying to force himself into women's spaces, and I'm not going to tolerate it. You have the radical left that are trying to erase women.
Baby, how is the trans community trying to erase women's rights when trans women stand up for women's rights? Y'all get the idea of what Nancy got going on, right? Nancy's a bigot. Nancy's a bigot. Nancy don't like black women. Nancy don't like trans women. And that probably means that Nancy does not like herself. Baby, with that strong, hard jawline, I can understand looking in the mirror and feeling uncomfortable. Shaped like Johnny Bravo in the face. Child, I don't know if y'all have seen the Transformers and the Transformer adjacents, honey. They was at the Capitol fighting for their rights to use public restrooms. Well, fighting for our rights to use public restrooms. Yes, honey, shout out to my sister Raquel, honey. That's who you seen getting put in the paddy wagon. Shout out to Devin Norrell. I saw you in them bathrooms as well, honey. It's funny, because I think Nancy be really forgetting about the trans men when she be coming for the Transformers. Child, now Nancy claims that she's been physically accosted. Mind you, the definition of accosted doesn't include any physicality. But Nancy said that she was physically accosted. Pay attention to that, accosted, honey, by a pro-trans man. Honey, your trans violence and threats on my life will only make me double down. She said, so who then physically accosted? What is this trans? What is going on, Nancy? Honey. The person ended up getting arrested for allegedly assaulting Nancy. Now, Nancy, was it an assault or an accost? Nancy, you done got somebody arrested on false charges? Nancy, I know you're not playing with the police. Only a Karen would do that, Nancy. Nancy is the Karen in Congress, honey. This is the activist, the foster activist. Yes, an activist for foster kids as well as trans people, honey. Yes, honey. Shout out to James McIntyre. Honey, he stands in the paint. Baby. Well, she done got James arrested. Nancy done got James arrested. Walking around in this sling. Now, child, I guess the sling is supposed to go with the assault story. I guess she's carrying on the assault story. A fool. Look at Nancy. Honey, Nancy. I wish I had some Mace. Honey. Well, Representative Nancy Mace threatens media for reporting on a handshake she says was assault. What was it, Nancy? Was it an accost, an assault, or a handshake? Honey, well, former Nancy Mace staffer, meaning one of her employees, one of Nancy Mace's employees, said that this is a pathetic ploy for attention. In fact, all of the people who witnessed James approach Nancy said that it was nothing more than a handshake. And while James was shaking her hand, he was attempting to educate her on the stats of trans people losing their lives. Nancy was assaulted, she said. Nancy was assaulted, honey. She said Nancy then got James arrested for no good apparent reason. I think Nancy needs to go to jail. Nancy needs to be arrested for playing with the police, honey. Playing with a government entity, honey, lying to 911, lying to the news, lying to the media, lying as a child, and y'all vote these people in? Well, you know, crackers like to vote, you know, and a lot of the Latinas is trying to become crackers, and the ones that's legal like to vote. Pray on it here. Pray for them, okay? Holly, Nancy Mace, oh nasty hussy. So all this started because Nancy was jealous of a transgender woman. All of this started because Nancy was jealous of a transgender woman being elected by the people. The people of Delaware chose her. Child, Sarah is living her best life. Sarah got her own bathroom and her own chambers at the Capitol. Nancy, she don't need to use yours or the public women's restroom. Nancy, you a fool. This is clearly a dog whistle for trans hate. Child. Y'all crackers ain't got enough people to hate already. Y'all got to include the transgender community. Nancy. Representative. I'm going to need the people of your state to get somebody else to do it. Yep. Get somebody else. Anybody. Honey. Get another felon. Y'all white women be looking a fool in public all the time. Being crackers. Karens in Congress, y'all. Let me know what y'all think, honey. Leave your opinion in the comments, baby. Congratulations to Sarah. Honey, how do you feel? Do you feel that this was right? Do you feel that Nancy should have banned Sarah from the women's restroom, even though Sarah don't need to use the public women's restroom? Do you think that this is foolery? Do you see the hate mongering? Let me know in the comments, honey. If you disagree with me completely, let me know in the comments. And y'all don't forget to please like, share, and subscribe. Peace, love, and blessings to you and yours until we speak again.